I was a little bit tearful. I won't deny it. I think to sort of be put in that position where you're watching a movie back of your own family, it's not something that you can ever prepare for or sort of rationalise, you know. So actually, when it happened, it was very impactful for me, quite poignant in a lot of the sequences, and I don't know. I mean, but ultimately, it was just a really well produced piece of film, and I just came away feeling really proud of not only my family, my mum and my dad, but also the performances and of Eddie and Felicity and Charlie, all of whom had just done such a fantastic job with their roles, Certainly the sort of the early part of the movie, with my father as a young able-bodied guy, just like any other 21, 22-year-old, resonated for me because I'd never really known him, as that person. By the time I came along, unfortunately his illness had progressed to the point that he was in a wheelchair. So that it meant a lot to me to sort of be able to see this this depiction of him with my mother, of course, as a sort of very young, happy, carefree couple. And then I think the other scene in the film that really kind of I found quite emotional was the bit where he's kind of trying to get up the stairs to reach my brother Robert as a baby, and not able to do it, and just feeling so frustrated that he's being defeated by the physical nature of his condition. I think for me, particularly for me and my sister Lucy, we found that it was the little details that they'd captured that actually made the difference. Little things that we'd notice that perhaps the average filmgoer wouldn't really notice, but were actually little nuances that just showed the levels of attention to detail that they'd sought to kind of to replicate for the movie, and I think that was really what set it apart for me. The only other one that I really know of would be the Benedict Cumberbatch drama from about 10 years ago, which obviously focused in on quite a specific era of my dad's life. I think it was all set back in sort of 1963. So, with this film, it was more about telling the story right the way through to the end of the 1980s. So, I think it will be long considered the definitive version. But that's not to say that Benedict didn't do a great job as well, because he did, and it was just that I think that there was scope for the whole story to be told. Well, I think he probably would actually rather focus more on the physics. I think obviously he's had this amazing story. But for him, it's always that what's kept him going as well as his family has been his accomplishments in his work, and I know that that is the sort of that's what's propelled him on. This sort of just insatiable desire to kind of continue with his work. So he's loved the movie, and I think he's thought it's been very faithful to what actually happened. So I think for him it's been a nice balance really of both the work and the personal side.